and holding them accountable.
Yeah.
So empowering them and then holding them accountable for what they said they would do.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's where coaching has such high value. And having a coach who cares and not someone who is just, I'll hand you something and then I won't follow up.
Mm-hmm.
And having been in a position where I have been linked with you in such a capacity, that has been the case. So what impact do you feel that has had on the results that your clients have seen?
Having scheduled check-ins and
Having
stuff like
scheduled check-ins and a heart-centered connection with your clients.
It's everything for a lot of them, for sure. There are definitely people who are self-motivated to do that kind of stuff because they have a genuine interest and they just enjoy it maybe. Those are the exception. And so having someone that you know is going to check in with you at the end of the week or whenever the scheduled check-in is really increases the accountability and the motivation, frankly, too. They don't want to have to come in and say, oh, I didn't really do any of them this week, because the first thing I'm going to say is like, well, what are we doing? Because you came to me and my understanding was that you have this time available, we agreed upon it, we committed to it. So what happened in the act of doing here that kept you from doing it? Was it that you just were afraid that you couldn't get to where you want even with the program? Is it that you just were depressed? You know, what is it going on in the background that's keeping you from doing it? Oh, I feel like I actually might be depressed, or maybe I didn't sleep enough the night before. These are all things that we can kind of address as a result, but having someone who just kind of plainly lay it out like that and say what's going on really takes the success level to a higher degree.
And then building a community even around that, it creates a next step where they know that they're not in this alone too.
Yeah.
And so there's all these levels that can be built up, but it has to start with that heart. And that's one thing that I've witnessed from you in spades. And with our theme this month being vulnerability, what do you feel vulnerability, what role does it have in what you do and how you guide these individuals and coach them, especially coming off of an injury?
Yeah, vulnerability is a huge component to understand from the health coach, trainer side of things. I think I shared this story with you a while ago, but I'll share it here also. When I was working in the big box chain gym setting, and I was still just kind of getting to understand things and learning how my degree applies to like actually working with people in a real world practical setting. I was also socially kind of getting my feet wet and understanding what it means to work with a real body versus just, a research paper. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so this is one that I still think about actually. One of the biggest ones of those for me was I was in an area of the gym with, a little bit of background. When a new member joins a gym in these big box settings, you usually get a free workout with a personal trainer. And that is to see if you like it, see if you like the trainer, see if it's something a service you want. Do you know what you want to do in the gym? Do you even know where everything is? That kind of stuff. So it just gets you a little bit more comfortable in there is the idea. And lets the service be advertised as well. So I was working with this new member on her first workout. Maybe it was her second workout. This particular company would let you do 2 or 3 to get a feel for the trainer. And we were in a part of the gym where people usually do like a lot of ab work. So you're like laying down. They tend to be at their end of the workout also, so there's a lot more socializing. And I was in one area of the room with this lady who we were developing good rapport. Like she was conversational and comfortable with me and everything. Everything was going great. I could tell she wasn't comfortable in the gym though. Like she certainly had just she just kind of felt a little anxious. So we're in one area, we're kind of doing our thing, finishing up our workout, and there's 2 other ladies that are across the room, nowhere near us at all, that are having an A to B conversation, like probably not even aware that we're there. And one of them said, Lady A says to Lady B something that's funny, and Lady B laughs at it, and then Lady A is kind of like laughing as well. And she thought they were laughing at them. And I kind of tried to talk her down a little bit. Like this, she was upset. Like she's kind of looking over at him, and she was just very, like, you could see her body language shift. And I downplayed it. Like, they don't even know we're here. Like, they're definitely not. No one cares what we're doing over here. This is us over here. And she was convinced that they were laughing at her just because she thought she did something wrong. Again, she was uncomfortable in that environment. But that totally opened my eyes to the vulnerability of that individual, or any individual who's just not acclimated to that kind of gym setting, because it is intimidating in there for sure, and especially those big ones where there's people who are just throwing weights around and stuff like that. But it also, she wasn't a super overweight individual or anything like that. She was just an average kind of lady. But it really helped me kind of daisy chain the thought process of, what if you're someone who is hyper obese, and trying to, like, the guts it takes to walk into a place like that and say, like, I think I need to come in here because I recognize I need to do something. That alone right there takes so much just courage to do, because you are sticking out like a sore thumb, right? And they're already body conscious and everything. So I think that was such a powerful lesson for me that I still continue to carry with me for sure. And I think I don't know that everybody's got a story like that, but I think it's really important to have that kind of understanding for sure. Not everybody wants to have a trainer. Some people do, but not everybody wants a trainer who's like, okay, let's get 20 more of those push-ups, and someone yelling at them right over that drill instructor kind of thing. That's not what most people want. They want someone who's going to help them for sure, and be tough, have some tough love, but recognize certainly that this is a civilian, like a regular person who's not accustomed to this kind of environment, and they're vulnerable for sure.
Yeah. To see them as a person.
Right.
And so, yeah, I can almost feel myself as the person that you were working with, because even owning a gym at one point in my life.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I felt very uncomfortable in my own gym.
Oh, really?
Because there were people who it was their life.
Yeah.
Like, they lived in there.
Yeah.
I lived in there because I owned it. But they were in there almost as much as I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a very uncomfortable feeling, because you start to feel inadequate if you don't know that it isn't about how much weight you can bench press or how many reps of something you can do. And that's where the professional can come in and help. Yeah,
I think that can be very, very valuable, to be just that almost kind of buffer for that client individual, to just have someone there who is a little bit more seasoned and more comfortable in there to make them just feel more welcome. But again, the big box gym is not really necessary even anymore. So there's a lot of, if you are somebody who's not comfortable with that, that's okay. There's lots of options at this point to be able to get around that. There's a lot of smaller gyms. There's a lot of studio gyms. There's a lot of studio gyms that are owned by personal trainers too. So you have a lot of options at your disposal. You can do a lot of your stuff at home now at this point too. So it's a good time to bring fitness to a lot more people who otherwise might not be comfortable going into those bigger gyms that were so dominant even just 10 years ago.